I attended all 5 years at the Hill, and so the second form or my eighth grade year was my first year, and I still remember showing up for the preseason water polo. Never had played water polo before. Walked out on the deck, and it was Mark Nelson's first year as well. And so I'm like super nervous. Like the year before, the Hill had been like the mythical national champions in swimming. There's like, future Olympians on the swim team and the water polo team. And so I walk out on the deck, and I'm this scrawny little second former, and I'm standing there kind of nervous. And I see this guy standing next to me who doesn't look much older than me. And I'm like, hey, I'm Dave Reevy, what grade are you in? And Mark Nelson looks back at me and says, I'm your coach, get in, something like that.
I think as a coach, Mark, especially in the 90s when we were all boys, was this sort of paragon of something that all of us wanted to be. He was smart, he was athletic, he was a father, he had a family that he brought to seated meals. And as a group of young men looking for that in our lives, and I think a lot of us are, you couldn't find a better example of who he was.
He took a very fundamentals first approach, let's do things right. Let's pick the ball up underneath. Let's play right as a team. Let's treat each other with respect. And if we do that, good things are going to happen.
He taught us from scratch in a way that I now have to do as a rowing coach. None of us knew water polo when we came to Hill. There might have been a few PGs here and there, but he was a teacher too, and his expectations for us were very high, but he had to start from scratch every year with a new crop of kids who had to work their way up through the JV system. And I think that is one of the things that I really think back on Mark as a coach, was that he taught us how to play a game and play it at a high level.
What really sticks out to me was when I was first starting out playing as a third, fourth former, I was mostly sitting on the bench, right? I wasn't really getting much playing time. And so I would be sitting often near Mark Nelson, and I would be asking him questions about the whole time, just learning, trying to understand what's going on. And he would make snide jokes and have fun with it, but he'd be teaching me the game as he's playing.
What I remember about Coach Nelson was his, he could change his personality a little bit to adapt to the situation. He was a guy who had I think, a great sense of humor, and was very comfortable, joking around with the guys on the team when that was maybe when, we were working particularly hard and we needed a little bit of a pick-me-up. But then, if things weren't going well or we weren't given the effort that he thought we needed to be given, he could flip it the other way, and could lay into you pretty good. So, I think he was really, really good at understanding what was needed in the moment. And that's something I think a talent that good coaches all kind of have that.
It's been fun to see Mark after 20 years and recognize sort of the man behind the mystique. I think that one of the great changes in education over the last 20 years has been the degree to which relationships matter, and to see a man who was not distant, but just sort of a figure of legend and renown and sort of mythic status to us as students, in his later career be so warm, so kind to his kids, and to be sort of a grandfather, albeit an incredibly fit and athletic and adventuresome grandfather, to not just the students but the faculty of the school, has been a really neat change, and a change that is, as a mid-career teacher, inspirational to think about the way in which even somebody as legendary as Mark Nelson can evolve and adapt and grow with the demands of his profession in such a powerful way.
He's got an abundance of knowledge and years of experience doing this. And so if there's anyone that I would really want to listen to on how to be a better coach and how to, understand the sport of water polo better, it's Mark Nelson.